Welcome to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. It is February 9th, 2016 at approximately 5:35 p.m. Mr. Burning, may we please have the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Burning?
Present.
Ms. McFarland?
Present.
Mr. Honolaw?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
And Gwen, if I could turn it over to you.
Next, we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance, and we are fortunate to have two Boy Scouts in the audience who are going to lead us in the pledge. So I would like Justin and Amari to come to the front, please, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Justin is working on his communication badge, and Amari is our Eagle Scout candidate.
Thank you.
Okay. This evening, we are fortunate to have two special recognitions. The first one that we're going to have is recognition of Avery Harper as the Fire Safety Poster Contest winner. The Springfield Township Fire Department participates in an annual fire prevention and fire safety program with our schools during the month of October. As part of this campaign, students are invited to participate in the State Fire Marshal's Poster Contest. Under the coordination of Lieutenant Randy Miller and Kevin Richards, the township selects 3 posters from each grade level. Those students are treated to a ride in the fire truck and a pizza party with the firefighters. The top poster design from each level then moves on to a state level competition. Tonight we have Jenny Snyder, the fire safety educator from the State Fire Marshal's office here, who can talk about the program more and share some exciting news. Jenny, if you come up, please.
Thank you for having me here. I want to start by actually thanking the Springfield Township Fire Department for actually participating in our poster contest. As you said, every year we have the contest during the month of October, and we receive hundreds of posters into our office. They come from anywhere from grade 1 through 6. After we receive them into our office, the safety educators from all over the state get together and judge those posters. We actually divide them up into grades 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6 and pick 6 winners from each age group. Years ago, it came down to 12 winners out of the state because we used to create a calendar. And that's how we came up with the 12. As in many other things in the fire service, once a tradition, always a tradition. So we will have 12 poster contest winners probably forever, just because that's the way it has always been. And this year, thankfully, I'm proud to present Avery's poster. It is up here, Stay Low in Case of Smoke, and it is a picture of people crawling out of the house. And we particularly liked this poster because it says in case of smoke. It doesn't just say in case of fire. And oftentimes we find that the smoke is actually the most dangerous part in a fire. So recognizing that there is smoke and that you must get down and crawl out is extremely important. And for a 3rd grader to realize this and draw a great poster is amazing. So Avery, very, very good job. I do also want to mention that Avery goes to Mount Healthy North Elementary, and we would like to thank Mrs. Davis, her art teacher, also for helping in this endeavor. Getting the messages out is the biggest thing. When we judge the posters, the first thing we look at are the messages. What are the children saying? Obviously, can be a great art poster, but if the message is not correct, then it's not something that we want to pick. So this message, as well as the artwork, was amazing, is amazing. And so Avery, do you want to come up here? take home. Do you want to grab that? You're welcome.
Can we have Kevin and Randy come forward as well?
Take a picture up here. Why don't you guys go on over to the...
Okay.
Carry some for you. Avery Harper, that's right. Okay, Avery, we have a special plaque here for you this evening. Fire Prevention Advocate Award. Springfield Township recognizes Avery Harper, presented this 9th day of February in the year 2016. The Fire Prevention Advocate Award recognizes citizens who have demonstrated dedication to the community through their work communicating the importance of fire safety. You have demonstrated excellence in the fire safety poster contest. Thank you very much.
We also have a certificate. Probably don't need this, but, it's issued to Avery Harper for demonstrating issues related to fire safety education and fire prevention. Your poster will be used to increase fire safety awareness by the State Fire Marshal's Office. Avery also receives a blue ribbon for winning 2 smoke alarms from the Marshal's Office, of course, and her entire family receives admittance into the Ohio State Fair because all of our contest winners are on display at the fair also. So, congratulations. Rob.
Okay, then.
Go ahead and call them up.
And next, for our recognition, we have Amari Farrell, who is our Eagle Scout. Amari, if you could come up here, please.
Amari is a 14-year-old freshman at Finneytown High School. He has earned the rank of Eagle Scout as of January the 18th, 2016, after completing a board review. Amari began his trail to Eagle Scout in March of 2012 and has earned 35 merit badges, surpassing the required 21 badges needed to become an Eagle Scout. He is the 24th Eagle Scout and youngest to date in Troop 772. And has a long, impeccable history as that group has the largest impeccable history as the largest African-American troop here in Cincinnati. As Amari's Eagle Scout project, he collected nearly $1,600 in donations of toys, books, and games and electronics that were donated to Children's Hospital Gifting Kind organization, much of which will go to the endocrinology department, which helps kids with type 1 diabetes, a cause that is near and dear to his heart and something he's very familiar with. In addition to the distinct honor of Eagle Scout, Amari also will earn Palms, which is the first of his entire unit. Palms are an additional honor that can only be earned once a Scout becomes an Eagle. There are 3 Palms, bronze, silver, and gold. Because of his diligence and hard work, he will earn both a bronze and a silver in April of 2016. Once he earns 1 additional merit badge, he will earn a gold palm, all of which will be completed by the time he is 15. Amari will continue to be a leader in his troop and inspire other scouts with his story of perseverance. He plans to attend college, and he hopes to major in mechanical engineering. In the short term, he hopes to play baseball for Finneytown High and secure a job in his community. Tonight, the board recognizes and congratulates Amari.
recognizing his outstanding achievements in community service with the successful completion of his Eagle Scout, and that's a high honor for the Eagle Scout. This is on behalf of the trustees, Mark, Joe Hunter-Law, myself, and our fiscal officer, Dan. So congratulations.
Next, moving on with our agenda this evening, we have approval of minutes from our regular work session special annual organizational meeting, which took place on December 29th, 2015, a regular meeting on January 12th, 2016, and a regular work session on January 26th, 2016. Are there any revisions or discussions?
I have none.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next on our agenda this evening, Mr. Burning, do you have a fiscal report for us?
Yes, we have closed out the year, so I do have one for the month ending 1/31/2016. The township expenditures were $1,132,940.62, and receipts were $440,667.31. The ending cash balance of $17,071,851 includes obligations for expenditures, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investments. What I need is a motion to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, updated current revenues, and reports for the period ending 1/31/2016. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I just want everyone in the audience and on TV to know that financial reports are available at the administrative offices weekdays during regular business hours or on our website anytime. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Burning. Next, moving on to departmental action and discussion items, Mr. Henningkamp, do you have a report for us?
I do, Mr. Hunter-Law. Two action items. First two action items both involving liquor permit request. The first is a transfer from the Compton Capital LLC, doing business as Compton BP at 1195 Compton Road. This is a transfer from DC Nabelsi, Inc., doing business as Compton Marathon, same address, 1195 Compton Road. And Chief, I don't believe there was any objection to this particular transfer.
No objection on this one, no.
But at that point, Mr. Hunter-Law, just would look for a motion from the board authorizing us to forward the letter in the form stating there is no objection.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The second liquor permit request is actually a new liquor permit, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's actually a new permit for the Section Road Sports Bar and Grill LLC at 1400 Section Road. This one, I do believe we do have objection to its issuance. I'm going to turn things over to Ms. Abrams, let her kind of go through a little bit more detail, and also Chief Browder, if there's anything he wants to add.
Thanks, Mike. This liquor permit application is the subject of a resolution you'll have later, Resolution 10. We are filing an objection to the issuance of this permit. This is the location of the prior Ladies and Gentlemen's Club. It had a couple different names, a couple different DBAs, but this was a problematic bar, if the board is well aware. Lots of issues there, some shootings, a lot of violations, drug violations, disorderly conduct, weapons violations. We were tracking this business, the business that was at this location previously, and had intended to file an objection for the renewal, but they ended up losing the license on another issue. So we believe it's the same individuals. We believe we'll be able to show that, but even if we could not show that, this is not really an appropriate location for a bar. It's in a residential neighborhood. It's in a house. There's no parking right next to it. The parking's across. This is just really not where a bar should be. It wasn't a tavern, sort of a neighborhood-style tavern at one point. It's not going to be that under
Used to
this
be
management.
Lefty's Tavern.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
And, there were no problems really when it was Lefties. Just bars have some inherent problems, but not to the degree they did here. So we're objecting on the fact that we think it's the same owner, and we definitely know it's not a proper location for a bar. So we're objecting on this basis. The resolution has everything in there. It's technically a new permit application.
That was my question, Laura.
It is.
They actually revoked the prior,
They had it, I don't recall if they actually revoked it or whether it just lapsed.
It was revoked.
Okay,
It was
they revoked it. So they had a tax issue and then they were operating without the license for a while. So it had several problems. So they were not going to get it reissued. So it's an entirely different LLC. The owners are listed as being different people, but we believe they're related. So we have that as a listing on the resolution as an objection basis too. So I think, as we've talked about before, these are sometimes hard to win, but there's a lot of reasons why this is not appropriate. So we don't, and if, people know, we don't object to these very regularly. People have the right to operate a business, a legitimate business. There's a place for legitimate liquor establishments, but there's also a place where they shouldn't go, and this is a prime example of that. So that's why we're recommending that.
I think it's important, too, that the community is very concerned about this as well. The community has continued to raise concerns because of the proximity of the bar and the history that the bar has had recently. So it's not just, us making that decision.
It
We
is.
have the community.
When there are houses located within 20, 30 feet of this
Exactly.
bar. I mean,
Right.
it is in a house. I mean, it's not that it's, a commercial establishment, designed to be in the neighborhood. It's a house converted to a bar. So, and I think someone even still lives upstairs, so what we do at this point is, technically, we probably would not need the formality of a resolution, but we've done that in the past. You're required to when it's a renewal, so objection to a renewal, so we thought we'd just keep the same formality, just for the record. We have asked that the hearing be conducted in the county seat, so we'll be able to get the witnesses in and do as good a job as we can to challenge it.
Sometimes the liquor board tries to do these things through, over the internet, through video. My experience has been the equipment doesn't often work. I would hope we get a live hearing.
We have, in the past, we've asked for a live hearing.
Yeah.
We've been granted that. Typically, if you have a large number of witnesses, they will let you have a live hearing.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to bring as many people as are willing to attend, so.
Okay.
We will have at least action for the board to consider a little bit later relative to that, as Ms. Abrams said, as resolution number 10, 2016 on that issue. The only other items I have, just a few discussion items, just announcements, reminders. Township's annual State of the Township will be that's Sunday, March the 6th at 1:30 p.m. Back at the Grove. Format will be similar to what we have done previous, where we'll kind of do a review of the past year, 2015, talk a little bit about what's in store for 2016 with our goals, objectives, and kind of our major projects and activities. And then after the presentation, which will probably be in a 15 to 25-minute range, will be available, staff, department heads, all available for any resident business owner who wants to meet one-on-one during that time, and also with any of our, the board and our fiscal officers, so our elected officials. So pretty similar to what we've done in the past, but that's March 6th at 1:30 p.m. back at the Grove. And then also wanted to announce, I know the board, we set the date for a public hearing on March the 22nd at 5:30 PM, and that will be the public hearing for our 2016 permanent appropriations. Permanent appropriations, this is an annual thing that we go through. The board's required to adopt permanent appropriations before the end of March. So this will be a meeting where we'll do a quick kind of review of the past financials, kind of led us up to this, a summary of the proposed permanent appropriations, and then an update on our five-year projections for our major funds. So again, that's going to be on the 22nd of March, and that'll be 5:30, and that'll be right here in this room. Also, something I know we've talked about for probably the last 3 or 4 different trustee meetings, and especially in detail at our last work session in January the 26th. We're in the process, or going to be in the process, of updating our comprehensive neighborhood master plan. This plan was adopted originally by the board in May of 2011, so we're at that 5-year point where it's always a good idea and something that we try to do with our plans, especially the land use plan component, which is a portion of the comprehensive neighborhood master plan. So we're going to be going through that process. We're not looking to recreate it, but we want to update it, refresh it. As a part of that process, we've talked initially when that plan was developed, we spent about, probably from start to finish, almost 1.5 years, 2 years putting that plan together. There were, I think, close to, at one time, 80 committee members. So we've been in the process of contacting all of those committee members to see if they want to continue and be a part of the update. I think Mr. Gilbert's been in that, and I think about half have indicated, some have moved out, some have moved on in other ways, and some have realized that it's probably a good opportunity to get some new blood in the process. So we're thinking we've got about half. I don't know that we want to add 40 new members. That was a fairly large group and a much more kind of comprehensive process. This will move a lot quicker because we're just really looking at the plan, updating it, seeing what, a lot of the things in there, quite frankly, have been accomplished. Some of the goals probably aren't relevant, and then we want to take a look at some new things. But we have posted, I know there was an article that'll be coming out in the paper tomorrow, and then it's been on our website where we are actively engaging the community for new members, individuals, residents who would be interested in serving on the committee. So if anybody is interested, there is information on our website. And then there's a quick little application that they can fill out just so we can get consistent information from each of the prospective members. The deadline for new members is February the 18th to submit. And then hopefully the board will make their selections on the new appointments. And the committee's looking to get rolling here pretty quick, probably as early as March. And the process will most likely be about a 2, maybe a 3-month process. Meetings, probably a couple nights, 2 nights a month. And we're hoping to bring recommendations to the board in late May, early June to have that plan updated. I will mention the Warder Nursery property is a portion of the comprehensive neighborhood plan, but the comprehensive neighborhood plan deals with really every aspect of the township, operations, land use, all kinds of things. So Warder's not the only piece of that. In fact, it's actually a relatively small piece of the overall plan, but it is another thing that we'll take a look at. 5-year ops plan or 5-year infrastructure plan and a 5-year parks and bike path plan are also new components that we want to include in that update. So again, just really announcing that anybody interested, go online, they can download that application or no, I don't think they even have to download it, do they? Just fill it right out and it just hit send and it goes directly to us. And I think at last count there was about, 30, somewhere around 30 applications. I would add that in the way the master plan committee was set up last time, it was done by neighborhoods. So we do want to get good cross-section and representation from all of the township neighborhoods. We tend to be getting a lot of applications from one area, and we do need to make selections to make sure all of our neighborhoods are represented. And obviously looking for a cross-section of people who bring a variety of different interests and experiences to the table. So the only other thing I really have is the personnel update, and fairly limited activity there. Did accept the resignation of Jason Brandt. Jason was a part-time paramedic firefighter, resignation date effective January the 28th. And we did hire a new bartender for back at the Grove Banquet Facility, and that is Masaki Okamura Bowles is our bartender, effective date of January the 26th of 2016. And Kim, I would ask you if you would bring us up to date with what's going on with community events and programs.
Thank you. I just wanted to make everybody aware that the new 2016 Programming Calendar Activity Guidebook was mailed out to all Springfield Township residents, so they should be informed on everything that's going on for the full year. Upcoming in February, the fire department is hosting a weather spotter safety training class on February the 24th. We have a free event back at the Grove called the Macy's Art Sampler. It's pretty much all day on February the 27th. On March 6th, again, we've got the State of the Township Community Address. On March the 19th, we have our Community Mom Prom. And the 22nd, our Public Permanent Appropriations Hearing. And March 31st, the Fire and Police Department are working on a CERT training class. It's Community Emergency Response Training. People can register to sign up for that and take that program.
The board has copies of all the department activity reports, so unless there's any questions, Joe, that's all I have.
Okay.
I have a question. I
yes.
cannot not ask this
Resist?
question. I cannot resist it because this time I didn't predict it. But Mike, can you kind of give us an update on the snow and ice removal? And I understand that we're using products now that are environmentally friendly, as well as we have a grant or received a grant, to kind of help us with the snow removal and the product.
I'll give you a little bit of background on this.
Thank you.
This whole process started back in late fall when I attended the Snow and Ice Conference in Sharonville. And during one of the classes, I struck up a conversation with the Public Works Director from Amberley Village. And it just so happens that they have a brine making machine that they installed 4 or 5 years ago. And it's been kind of somewhat underutilized. And at the conference, they were pushing liquids and how municipalities can save on their salt usage by using liquids. And so, to make a long story short, our conversation ended with a somewhat collaborative agreement that they would provide us salt brine in return for a small exchange of salt from our salt dome. Basically, that just reimburses them for their salt and their water. The other product that we're using is a product by the name of Ice Be Gone. And believe it or not, it's a byproduct of vodka.
Oh my goodness, you're kidding.
Yeah. The effectiveness, when you use calcium chloride, it's very corrosive, it's very hard on equipment, it's hard on plants, it's hard on infrastructure all the way around, especially our equipment. So this new product, and they're pushing it pretty hard, is completely non-corrosive. They call it organic, whatever that means. But we've seen a lot of success from it. I will say that our salt usage is down. I know we've only had a limited number of events, but we're probably down 20 to 30% when you compare equal number of events from the past couple of years, which have been a lot harsher winter. So yeah, I would say that the few trucks that are utilizing it, it's been a success, and we'll continue to explore it and report back on our findings. It continues to be a good thing for everybody.
Mike, it's my understanding that this keeps there being so much bounce with the salt that it kind of keeps the salt where you want it on the road and
Yes,
keeps it.
that's exactly right, Joe. The salt is most effective when it's on the road, and drivers can slow down, they can turn their spinners down as much as they possibly can, but you can't control the bounce. And once salt is in the curb or it's laying right there in somebody's grass, it's no longer effective. And the fact that salt continues to climb in price, and $71 a ton. That's a lot of money that's sitting along the curb there that's really not doing any good. So by spraying it, wetting it with salt brine, or when temperatures get extremely cold, with the ice be gone, basically turns it into an oatmeal mixture that allows it just to stick right there to the pavement. And it doesn't, it reduces or eliminates the bounce factor.
That's great.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the departmental activity reports?
I have none.
Okay. Next then, before the board, we have some resolutions. The first one is Resolution 10, 2016, objecting to the issuance of a liquor permit to Section Road Sports Bar and Grill, LLC, and authorizing the Township Law Director to take actions necessary to pursue an objection pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 4303.26. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 11, 2016, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is Resolution Number 12, 2016, authorizing the sale by internet auction of vehicles forfeited to Springfield Township pursuant to Section 4503.233E1 of the Ohio Revised Code, which are no longer needed for public use, are obsolete, or unfit for use in the police department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is Resolution Number 13, 2016, authorizing the private sale of junk motor vehicles which were titled to the township pursuant to Revised Code Section 4513.61 and Revised Code Section 4513.62, and which are not needed or unfit for use in any township department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 14, 2016, authorizing the trade-in of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, or tools in the service department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 15, 2016, authorizing the trade-in of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, or tools in the service department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Finally, we have Resolution Number 16, 2016, authorizing the trade-in of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, or tools in the service department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Mr. Harlaw, I would just note, you weren't stuttering there, you weren't doing the same resolution 3 times. That was actually the same title, but there were different equipment and different vendors.
Different. I was almost going to bring that up. Yes.
Why there were 3 different ones.
Yes. And we passed a separate resolution for each vendor, basically. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next on our agenda is old business. Do we have any old business before the board?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. Under new business, do we have any new business this evening?
I have none at the present.
I have none.
I just have a couple of brief things. Of course, I lost the page. While I'm looking for that, I am a member of the Hamilton County Stormwater Oversight Board, and we had a meeting here a week ago, and the Hamilton County Stormwater District Capital Improvement Project Program, we approved certain proposed awards for this coming year, and Springfield Township is going to be the recipient of 2 of these awards. This is a program through the Stormwater Oversight Board where some of our dollars that are spent on stormwater assessments are sent back to the communities to help pay for stormwater projects where there's problems with flooding, erosion, and so Springfield Township is going to receive $30,000, which was our funding request for a project on Sabino, and we are also going to receive $58,000 for a water project on Wellesley over in View Place. And I know there's been some severe erosion over there, hasn't there, Mike, on that particular one?
That's correct. In both situations, the infrastructure is failing, and without these grant dollars, we wouldn't be able to complete these repairs. So it's allowing us to leverage and make sure that this infrastructure is repaired prior to something significant, prior to it getting any worse, let's just put it that way.
And I just want to say thank you for the work you've done in going out and being proactive and getting these, getting the grant applications in on time and getting them submitted in such a way that we were able to be successful in getting this. And we've been successful in the past with problems on McKelvey Road, and we have gotten grants, and I can't remember the amounts for the flooding problems that we've had up on McKelvey Road. And I did want to, Mike, it's under your service department report. There is going to be a public meeting here for township residents on Tuesday, February the 23rd at 6:30 here in the Allen Paul Room regarding that project, so that residents on McKelvey Road that want to come in, and we're actually to the point where we're getting ready to, the engineering's been done and we're ready to commence the work, they can come in and see exactly what the specifics of the construction will be and have their questions answered.
That's correct, Joe. We'll have the plans up on a board, so that way property owners can come in and see how their property is going to be affected. All the work, for the most part, is all going to occur in the right-of-way, minimal impact, but it'll provide a pretty good illustration for people to know in advance, prior to shovels going in the ground, what's going on.
It'll also tell them what it will do and what it won't do.
That is exactly correct. It is a roadway drainage problem. It's not going to solve any private drainage problems. It's for the roadway.
Right. Okay. Okay, very good. Well, Mike, thanks for your work on that.
That was about $321,000
That's correct. We
total
received,
I knew
project.
it was in six figures.
yeah, we received in excess of $200,000 in grant funding from the Hamilton County Stormwater District to complete that project. Yes, but the engineer's estimate is about $321,000.
Okay. And while we're on the issue of grants, I also sit on the Hamilton County Land Bank, and I've been talking to Chris Gilbert, and in the past, the Hamilton County Land Bank has been, which is managed by the Port Authority, has been successful in getting large grants from the state, which have gone to alleviate blight. Particularly, these grants have been set up for demolition, and the vast majority of the money has gone into the city of Cincinnati, where they have, far greater numbers of deteriorated and blighted properties, and, some places they're almost knocking down entire blocks at a time. But we have had discussions at our last meeting of how, while there's been some of the townships and the other smaller municipalities that have participated in the programs, we haven't been able to find the places for this, but I think there's going to be an added emphasis on looking for ways that we can identify blight here in our township and utilize some of these grant dollars to remedy some of those situations. And I know, Chris, you've had some discussions with county officials as well.
I did. As recently as this past Thursday, I met with the director of the Hamilton County Community Development Department and directly discussed what you're talking about now. And as you remember, several years ago, we received almost $500,000 in neighborhood stabilization program funds. That was a federal funded program that was passed through the county, where we did quite a bit of demolitions at that time and actually acquired and rehabbed 2 houses too as part of that program. And those funds were targeted for demolitions and housing revitalization projects that were only allowed to be in specific neighborhoods that met the income qualifications. But as we talked, yes, we are aware of the current funding mechanisms in place to allow us to continue some of that work that we did several years ago. Properties, as Ms. Abrams can attest, have to meet a very strict standard in order to be declared dangerous properties pursuant to the ORC and therefore able to be demolished. So they do have to be in a pretty bad state of repair before we can actually raise a house. But we are working with the county, not only regarding the demolition funds, but also to maybe do some additional housing projects in some of these neighborhoods to help revitalize some of these areas. So I look forward to working with them as well as the land bank, because they'll be an integral role or partner in this as we have to acquire properties to allow these projects to happen. So hopefully this summer we have some good news to share and some projects in place that we're working on.
And I'd just like to add, there are several communities that are engaging in this process as we speak. And so Chris and I will be meeting with those communities to look at what we can do and how we can help those communities develop and enhance the neighborhoods and their communities around them. And whatever we can do to help those communities, we will do. And this overall will improve the quality of life in Springfield Township. So there's opportunities. I'm excited. And I'm glad that we're working with the land bank to get them out into the county versus all into the city.
Yeah, and some of it it's just not appropriate for, our housing stock and some of the conditions that we find here. But I know one of the things, a lot of the programs in the past have been restricted to just simply demolition, nothing else. And I was listening to a presentation in our last meeting how really what can be more effective and more cost-effective and quicker in revitalizing areas is that some of this money can be used for renovation and taking homes that aren't to the demolition stage, but they definitely need renovation. And the land bank has been doing that, particularly in the Evanston area. And they are, we're kind of taking block by block and remaking the neighborhood. So it's prices have gone way up. There's I wouldn't say there's bidding wars, but there's a lot of interest on the homes in these areas, and so we're working to try and bring the area up, the whole county. Is there anybody else that has anything under new business?
No, sir.
Moving on then with our agenda to citizen participation. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address the board? If they would, we'd ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address, and we'd ask everybody else, listen. Is there anyone that would like to address the board this evening? I thought we had a taker there somewhere. If there is not, then I believe we would be looking for a motion to adjourn this meeting, and there is no executive. No. Okay.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.